Hello, welcome to this week's edition of Mustang Basketball with Brad Bigler. I'm your host, Kelly Loft, Athletic Communications Director at Southwest Minnesota State University. And again, we talk Mustang men's basketball with the head coach, Brad Bigler. The Mustangs with a couple of nice wins at home last weekend, beating Minnesota Duluth and Bemidji State University as the Mustangs continue to climb up the conference standings. And a big weekend coming up as the Mustangs take on Upper Iowa and Winona State. And we'll talk about those games in a little while on the show. And of course, joining us is the head coach, Brad Bigler. And we apologize for not being here last week here at Studio One and on the website as well. But things, tough week for you. Capped off with some great victories by the Mustangs, beating Minnesota Duluth 84-67, and then Bemidji 78-62. But early in the week, an injury, not to a player on the team, thankfully, but just to a head coach.
Yeah, I just playing some noon ball at the YMCA, and my Achilles tore on me. And so last Tuesday, rather than coming here, I had the privilege of going and having surgery over in Sioux Falls.
Yeah, that's a tough injury, I've heard. It's not easy. It does mean you're getting older, possibly. Is that what they say, or it could happen to anybody?
His actual words were, "It's shredded." So I don't know if that's good or bad, but it's fixed now, and now it's on to recovery.
And obviously, watching you coach this past weekend, you basically just had to kind of stand in one spot, and you kind of hop to one end of the bench. But that does limit you somewhat. Does that change your mindset at all, or some of the things you can do? I mean, obviously, you wish you were more mobile to maybe talk to an official or a player on the bench, but it kind of limits you. And will it be better for this week, or is it kind of the same situation this weekend?
We'll see. I can put some pressure on it now, but we'll have to see how that plays out. As far as talking to the officials and players and stuff like that, I thought I was hopping around pretty good. Maybe I'll have to get a little bit better on hopping on one foot, though.
Well, it helped out this last weekend. The foot felt much better. Again, the Mustangs pick up two needed victories against the Bulldogs and the Beavers after a tough trip the week prior to University of Mary and Northern State University in a game against Northern. That Mustangs didn't control most of it and let it slip away. So you had to bounce back, and you did that against the Bulldogs and continued to shoot the ball very well. And amazing when you shoot the ball well, good things happen. But defensively and some rebounding, it really was the key as well. And let's talk about your effort all weekend from the defensive side, because Bemidji State's a team that shooting the ball very well, averaging nearly 80 points a game, and they shoot a season-low 31%.
And going into the game, Bemidji is a team that, like you said, they can put up 80 points in a hurry, and they present a lot of difficult matchups. They post up their guards, their forwards can shoot threes, and they do a lot of unique things on the offensive end. And I thought for the most part our guys defended those certain types of actions well, and we finished possessions. That's a key too, especially for us here in the second half, being able to get those big defensive rebounds to get the momentum back on our side, and those are things that we did well this weekend.
Well, you opened up with Minnesota Duluth on Friday night, and the Mustangs win 84-67. Rebounding-wise, you had 15 offensive rebounds. You out-rebounded the Bulldogs by plus 12 in the contest, and points in the paint and points off turnovers are the difference in this one. And you really established the inside presence in that contest with Scott Rail, 18 points, and Lavion West with 11. And Lavion's a player that had a pretty good weekend offensively. And he just adds so much to the offense and makes you that much of a tougher guard for your team as a whole when Lavion's doing that from the 3 and 4 position.
And that's probably the key, is we moved him a little bit. He did play a little more power forward position this weekend, so maybe those matchups allowed him to attack off the dribble a little bit better. He also played a few more minutes too, so he earned them, and he played well this weekend, and we look forward to him to keep doing the right things.
Well, you did change the lineup up this past weekend, put a couple of freshmen in, and one redshirt freshman and Matt Zager, and a true freshman and Nick Smith. So you have 3 freshmen in the lineup. What was the reasoning behind that your coaching staff came up with? As you've always said, it doesn't really matter who starts, it's who finishes. But just to give the squad a different look, that's what you did this weekend, and it worked.
And sometimes you get lucky, and that's maybe the case this weekend. But it was just we needed a change. We've lost 8 out of 9, and we needed to make some changes. And it was nothing whereas Taylor Hughesby and Lavion were playing poorly. It's just giving some opportunities to Nick Smith. Maybe that sparks his confidence a little bit. And with Lavion and Matt Zager, That's not too big of a change, but maybe it was just giving them a different look in the different rotations.
Well, again, the Mustangs followed up Friday night's victory, and we'll watch some highlights from that contest here shortly with a big win against Bemidji State University, and a team that, again, has scored at a pretty high clip and has shot very well, but you limit the Beavers to just 24% shooting in the second half, 31 for the game, and it all starts there on the defense. You know, sometimes that best offense, the old cliche, is a good defense, or vice versa, but it sets you up there getting some, forcing some turnovers, and that was just an overall team effort in the ballgame. You made some shots. You made a season-high 9 3-pointers, and just made it very difficult for Bemidji to get in their offensive set. And
Bernard Birch, his energy level this weekend was, if it was being back at home, he was playing at a better level too. And when he's up there defending the basketball, putting pressure on the ball, it makes it difficult for opposing point guards to get themselves in the system.
You look at the Friday night game against Bemidji. Maybe, ball handling wise, one of the worst halves you had of the season. Turned the ball over, 12 times in the first half, and only trailed by 2. You got a big spark late with the basket by Jimmy Abraham, and then Matt Zager, just a great basketball play, stealing the inbound, scoring, so you're down 2 instead of maybe 6 points, and that was a big difference, but probably had to feel fortunate only down 2 points at half after Bemidji shot 39%, and you shot 54, but we're still somehow trailing because they got to the line and the Mustangs turned the ball over just far too many times.
And the turnovers were a big key to that, not getting in a rhythm. And then we also did miss quite a few shots. We missed some layups in that first half, and all around, I do want to give Bemidji some credit, though. Off the basketball, they do some switching. Their point guard on the offensive end defends our power forward on the defensive end. So, like I said, they have some unique matchups, and next time we play them, I know they're going to be a lot more difficult when we go up there to play.
And off the bench in that Bemidji State game, Labian West 11 points, and Trent Carlson with 13, and had 3 3-pointers, and the second time now he's had double-figure scoring in a game. But again, you need those guys to come in and hit some 3-pointers. It can't always be Jordan Miller or Matt Zager to attempt 3-pointers, and Trent can do that, and when he's open, he usually knocks them down.
And he took advantage of his opportunity in that second half. He had some open looks, knocked him down. Also got a big defensive rebound in that second half, which then got fouled and stepped up the foul line and made 2 free throws too.
So the Mustangs with the 2 wins, now nearing 500 overall at 8-9 and 5-8 in the conference, and now moving to a tie for 8th place in the conference. It's a crazy league this year. Everybody's kind of beating up on everyone. There's really no surprises in the conference. Everybody is doing it both home and away this year, and hopefully the Mustangs will continue their winning ways. Had a very good home record this year, had the Mustangs, and look to continue that here this evening. Let's talk briefly about some of the changes you made. We've talked about in the last month or so, but Bernard Birch, he goes on the bench. You have Jimmy Abraham play some point guard, but you also have Jordan Miller doing that as well. And what is he mainly just a point guard in that situation, or is he kind of he makes it dangerous? He can shoot the 3 as well, but that is a difficult spot, and he's showing some maturity being able to do that as a sophomore and running the offense, but still being a scoring threat as well.
And part of it's just his versatility. I mean, he has a talent to be able to play both. What it allows us to do is to put another shooter on the floor like Trent Carlson or a Matt Zager, and with Jordan at the point, we may feel it might be a little bit tougher to guard us with him at the point.
And you look at the point guard, and then you look to the post position, and there's always the dominant force there rebounding wise. Scott Rail, another double, and now over 600 rebounds in his career, and he just continues to be a man-child there at the rebounding end. And we'd like to see the defensive boards. He had 11 defensive rebounds against Minnesota Duluth, and just 1 offensive rebound, and didn't have an offensive rebound in the second game, but because he's not missing a lot of shots. And obviously when the team's shooting well, so it's great to see those defensive rebounds, probably the most important stat out there.
And we talked, I said before the season, it's nice to be the best offensive rebounding team, but that also means that you're probably missing a lot of shots. So to pull back on the offensive end, it is nice to see us making some shots, and for him to get those defensive rebounds are key. That's how we finish possessions, and Scott has the ability to go up in traffic and get those tough rebounds.
Well, you look at against the UMD, the Mustangs allowed just 4 second chance points to UMD, who shot 39%, so very good numbers. Now, obviously, Bemidji shot 31%. They're going to get some more opportunities because of some missed shots, but Mustangs did a pretty good job there of limiting the second chance points for the Beavers as well. So, all in all, a very good weekend for SMSU, picking up a couple of victories. And we're going to look at some of the highlights. We've talked about the ball game, but now let's watch highlights from this past weekend's games. We'll first start off against the Bulldogs of Minnesota Duluth. SMSU, a 10-point lead at halftime, 36-26, and a good way to start off the second half of the conference season. And here we go with the Mustangs here in the first half. A nice steal off the inbounds by Bernard Birch and finding Scott Rail.
You'll see here off the end out, Scott Rail fakes like you said in the screen, pops out, knocks down the 17-footer.
Jordan Miller driving, here's what we're talking about, kicking it off to Nick Smith, baseline jumper from about 12 feet. Buries that shot. Nick again making his first career start. Here's Bernard Birch, an aggressive move to the rack, drawing the foul.
And you'll see here Trent Carlson getting some space with the nice cross, splits the defenders, goes up and finishes as well.
Bernard Birch on the other end, being aggressive, and again, good to see that. Makes things happen on the offensive end. And here he gets the Mustangs in the offensive set, dribble to bounce pass to Scott Rail, who drives to the basket for two. He had a game-high 18 in the game, did Scott Rail. There's two more on a great pass for the Mustangs.
You'll see here there's a loose ball. Casey Suzaguth, another guy who played some more minutes this weekend, stepped up. Got that loose ball, found Jordan Miller, and got the and one.
Mustangs 5 3-pointers in the game, and here is one of them, Jordan Miller from long range. Tough to guard that. Jordan with just 9 points in the contest. Here's redshirt freshman Matt Zager driving into the paint for 2 of his 12, again in his first career start. And here again driving, and that great extra pass by the Mustangs.
And that's a lot what we've been talking about a lot right now, just being unselfish on the offensive end, create easy opportunities for their teammates, and that was a perfect example of making the extra pass.
Again, 12 second chance points for the Mustangs in this game, and you saw 2 by Casey Suzaguth, and there's Scott Rail with the basket. Now we move to the second half. Mustangs again leading by 10, and again, season high, 21 assists, and it's easy when you make passes like that.
Right here's Bernard Birch sparking us in that early in the second half with a steal and 2.
And then Taylor Huseby wide open, deep in the paint, and just muscles up 2 of his 8 points. He's 4 of 6 shooting. And now after a basket by the Bulldogs, Mustangs quickly back in transition. Matt Zager, an easy 2.
And then the following possession, we get a steal here. Jordan Miller has a nice save. You don't see it on camera, but then the ball is advanced up, and Matt does a great job of finishing with contact.
And then more traditional set, Mustangs. Here's Trent Carlson, top of your screen. Wide open, high arcing shot, and drills the 3. Now an end out, right side Mustangs. Again, extra pass, Scott Rail, Taylor Huseby, an easy 2. And now here's an offensive rebound for Taylor.
Good rebound by Taylor. Just seals Irvin underneath the rim and goes and gets it.
Beautiful pass, Bernard Birch in transition, somehow sneaking it through to Taylor for the layup. And here's Lavian West. Great steal and 1. Not a lot of guys can do that, and Lavian can. Great to see.
And throughout the whole weekend, I thought we did a great job of, on the defensive end is getting in passing lanes, taking some things away, making it a little difficult for the opposing team. Rather than just sitting back and letting them miss shots, we were making some plays, and we were using that on the offensive end as well.
Here's Matt Zager drawing a double team, wide open West, and you got to knock that down. You get the opportunity, and Lav did his only 3-point attempt of the night. And then an almost incredible play in transition. You just saw it happening. Lavian got fouled on the way up for the alley-oop. And then Lavian again with a jump shot after a pass from Trent Carlson. There's Derry Jones finding Casey Suzaguth for 2. Everybody got into the ball game. We will wrap up the highlights here, and here's Chris Hagan getting fouled and getting to the free throw line. Mustangs win the ball game by a score of 84-67. Again, double-double for Scott Rail, his team leading 8th double-double of the season. 18 points, 12 rebounds, 7 of 11 shooting for Rail in the contest. And Matt Zager had 12 points and 11 for Lavian West. So again, a pretty balanced scoring attack, which is probably what you like to see. We're not going to have a lot of 20 or 30-point scoring games, but a good balanced attack, and that's how the Mustangs have to win games.
And give credit to Lavion West, pulling him out of the lineup this weekend. The starting lineup, that is, still gets the rotate. Still is going to be in the rotation. Still is going to get his opportunities, and he handled himself very well. Came out aggressive, made some plays by getting the ball to the rim. Got to the foul line a little more this weekend. That's something where that's an area that he can continue to improve. And you throw the combination of him and Matt Zager. Those are the guys. If we want to take this next step and make this final run, we're going to need some more scoring out of those guys.
And one thing, and it'll happen this week, if you're fortunate enough to win on Friday, you just got to somehow, hey, the next day is a whole other day, and the Mustangs have to rebound, and you can win on Friday, but if you don't win on Saturday, it just balances out. So you get the guys ready for Bemidji State, who had a very good game against Minnesota State the night prior. So you knew they'd be a very good opponent, and they have got some, played very close in a lot of games, have the Beavers, and just have come on the short side. So, what's the focus coming in on that Saturday morning shoot-around? Just, last night's forgotten. Let's focus on the next opponent.
And it started right after the game on Friday night. And you can see the look on the guys' faces. Maybe a sigh of relief that we're winning, we're ready to go, and kind of put that losing streak behind us. Now it's a matter of going back to business the next day. I think the guys are ready to go. They were intense, right? From shoot around, they were ready to go. And we knew we were going to have a good crowd, we are going to have a good support. And right now, that was nice to see. That support was, that maybe that little extra factor to give our guys some confidence to finish ball games.
Well, again, the Mustangs started off, really finished up the Duluth game, and now the Bemidji game shooting the ball well. You've had 3 straight halves now, shooting over 50% from the field. And you look at the numbers on Saturday against Bemidji State, you hit 9 3-pointers, which is a season high, and didn't shoot particularly well from the free throw line, which is kind of uncharacteristic of the Mustangs, who were ranked in the top 10 nationally in free throw percentage. You go 15 of 22 from the line, but again, 37 rebounds to just 31 for the Beavers, and just 3 second-half turnovers. And when you can limit those possessions and make some shots, you're a lot better coach that way, and it's easier to win basketball games.
And in that second half, we made some adjustments at halftime just to space the floor. Open it up a little bit and allow some guys more driving lanes rather than having Bemidji defend down screen action, more so just getting open, driving down the paint and trying to make plays.
Well, again, the Mustangs trailed by 2 at half, 35-33, but came out strong, scored the first points of the second half, tied it up, and then eventually took the lead and had a nice run midway through the second half to go up by, I believe it was 6 or 7 points. Bemidji State comes right back, takes a 1-point lead at about the 9-minute mark, but then the Mustangs rally back with a run of their own, about a 10-0 run, and you never look back and pick up the victory. And again, it all goes to that defensive side, which forced the Beavers probably to shoot the ball a little bit earlier than they wanted to, and you took advantage of it in transition and your offensive sets as well.
And we made an adjustment to go to some zone, and we caught Bemidji at the best time too. Their 2 best shooters were sitting on the bench. We went to the zone. They took some quick threes, got some rebounds, scored in transition, and that's kind of where we kind of took advantage of that opportunity. And we got the momentum, and we got up by a few baskets.
Again, the Mustangs with the victory, 78-62 on Saturday. And let's take a look at those exciting highlights from the RA facility against Bemidji State University. And starting up here on the defensive end, the Mustangs in the gold uniforms, a steal by Bernard Birch. Mustangs had 3 steals in the game. And now on the offensive side, Taylor Huseby being aggressive and scoring 2 points, his only basket of the evening. And now drop of dimes to Scott Rail with a baseline jump shot.
Talking about matchups going into the game, that matchup between Bernard Birch and Bryce Tesdahl was going to be a key matchup. And, for the most part, I thought Bernard handled himself well, got to a front in the post, and made it difficult for Bryce.
So Lavion West with the jump shot. Here's long 3 for the Mustangs. Trent Carlson, again, he had 3 3-pointers off the bench. Nick Smith in the paint gets in trouble. Again, that extra pass, West over to Carlson, and missing the 3, but again, a big offensive rebound for Susan Guth, kept the possession alive. Great look for Trent, just didn't hit it, but that second chance points. And there's Lavion West with the 2, and here's Jordan Miller with one of his 5 threes.
And you can see there's a better flow to our offense right now. They're sharing the basketball. They're getting some ball reversals. making teams defend certain different actions rather than just one entry pass and trying to go one-on-one. And that's what we've been stressing. Be unselfish. Try to create easy opportunities for your teammates, and when your opportunity presents itself, knock down the shot.
Casey Susan Guth fighting through the loose ball, knocked away, got it back, scored. And you saw earlier a nice cut away from the basketball by Trent Carlson. He drew the foul. There's a jumper for Matt Zager, who had 3 field goals in the game. And here's a hustle play by the Mustangs, forcing a turnover after a block by Nick Smith. And back to the offensive side. Nick Smith for the long-range jumper. And then Zager, the freshman, driving to the basket and drawing a foul.
And that's a dimension that Matt brings to us, ability to get to foul line, ability to attack that rim. That's nice to have when, especially when teams are going to double Scott, maybe on a kick out. Matt can get it on a closeout situation and attack the paint.
Here we talk about reversing the basketball, and Lav driving into the lane for 2. Again, Lav on 11 points on 5 of 6 shooting. And 5 rebounds as well. And here's late in the half, steal by Zager. Big 4-point turnaround as the Beavers tried to get a quick shot before half, and he stole it away. It happened so quick, and now the Mustangs down 2. Start the second half, and boom, the game's tied.
And as you'll see in the second half, the flow of the offense a little bit different, a little more, maybe a little bit more standing, but more spacing, hard cuts. Really trying to get action to the rim, more so with dribble penetration rather than the screening type action, like I said.
A fortunate play, and maybe a tough shot by Scott Rail, but there was Matt Zager for the rebound and gets the 2, so it doesn't hurt you so much. But probably plays like that, still you got to take high percentage shots. And for Jordan Miller, there probably is one shooting team high for 3-pointers, and he drills that again, 5 of 9 from long range. And again, cutting away from the ball, Trent Carlson, easy layup from Scott Rail.
And that was nice of Scott just to be able to look over that double team and find a cutting Trent Carlson.
And the Mustangs outscored BSU 45-27 in the second half. Mustangs shoot 58%. Nice fake, gets Rogstad off his feet. Jordan steps in and drills the 3-pointer. Here's Scott Rail, tough fadeaway jumper here. Takes
his time. They don't come with the double. Is patient. Just rises up and knocks down the tough shot.
Again, Rail 15 points, 4 of 8 from the field, and the block good up and under. And then Jordan Miller with the drive and the foul. Not much you can do on the defensive end except send Jordan to the free throw line. A very good free throw shooter, some of the tops in the country. And here's drilling a 3, and here comes another 3 for Jordan. Lavion West will have the pass here in the bottom, now to the top of the screen, and gets it over to Jordan.
Ball's going to get worked around, and nice driving kick by Lavion. Jordan steps up and knocks down the 3.
And again, Lav, good on both ends of the floor, sees a baseline move. He goes to the left. 2, again, of his 11 points, and closing out here in the last couple of highlights, Trent Carlson for a couple of 3s to kind of the dagger on the Beavers here on this night.
We'll finish out here. They leave Trent open, and Trent steps up and knocks down that 3.
So the Mustangs get the victory over the Beavers, 78-62. The Mustangs now 8-9 overall and 5-8 in the Northern Sun Conference. And again, Mustangs 9 of 18 from 3-point range in that contest against the Beavers. And I think it's just probably great to get home on a Friday, Saturday. It was over a month that the Mustangs had last played on a Friday, Saturday. There was the conference opener December 3rd and 4th. It's just the way the schedule worked out. Had snow in early January, so we had to play a Monday, Tuesday with no students. And good to see the guys come home and play well in front of the home crowd. I know the fans appreciated that, and it was a big weekend.
And we look forward to continuing that streak here this weekend. I think with Upper Iowa and Winona coming in, we're going to have 2 tough challenges, and we'll see see how our guys prepare this week.
Speaking of that, the Mustangs do host Upper Iowa and Winona State. We can kind of call it Revenge Week, which has been kind of the theme here, you could say, in the second half of the season. Way back 3 years ago, it seems like we played Upper Iowa and Winona, but that was earlier this season in December. You had a couple of tough losses. Winona State hits the three-pointer at the buzzer just across half court. Same with Upper Iowa. You struggled, had a lead, and Upper Iowa had a nice run in the second half, took an 8-point lead. You guys came back and tied it at the buzzer on a three-pointer, so we're fortunate to get to OT. You take a 4-point lead, and then the Peacocks rally back, and Taylor Hughesby scores with 5 seconds to go, and give Upper Iowa credit. They made a shot at the buzzer on a great play, and they got the win. So I'm sure the guys are ready for this weekend. It's going to be exciting, obviously, with the Peacocks on Friday and the Warriors on Saturday, but just important to get worry about that game on Friday.
And it starts with the game on Friday versus the Peacocks. Their system, we've talked about it before. They have a difficult system to defend, and late in the shot clock, the first time we played them, they got a lot of action to the rim. They would hit us with the backstring, get an easy layup, and they executed their game plan very well.
They do an excellent job. Coach Dolan does a great job at Upper Iowa. And then you have Winona State. And, we always talk about Hawaiian Night, and it's exciting for our fans and for our guys to play in. But it also, I think it probably pumps up the other team as well. And Winona's played in several big games and big crowds. And first time in a long time that they've been a Hawaiian Night opponent. But it should be fun. But, how do you tell the guys? Let's just keep our emotions in check here early on.
And that's a great atmosphere for both teams. It's I don't know. Winona's seen a lot of big crowds through their runs that they had, but a lot of their new players now. I mean, they're going to see a Mustang fan space that's second to none, and we look forward to having a big crowd and having that support behind us, and it should be a lot of fun on both this weekend, Friday and Saturday. Yeah,
it will be. The RA facility will be rocking both nights. Again, at the home games as the Mustangs continue the second half now in this conference, and just a few games from near the bottom of the conference standings, but you're also just a few games from getting near the top and almost a home playoff game. But so every game is a big one. You have 9 games left, here of this regular season. So anything can happen, and it starts just starting off here on Friday night and getting the victory. So again, the Mustangs taking on Upper Iowa on Friday night, and then Winona State on Saturday. Both games will start at 8:00. At the RA facility. I mean, before we go, we just want to say, this last week was tough for Mustang Athletics. A great fan, and Ron McLaughlin passed away. I know he gave you lots of advice during your recruiting days, but Ron passed away via heart attack last week. But what a great fan, and he definitely will be missed. And again, was always there at practice a lot to watch, and he definitely will be missed at basketball and all sports for Mustang Athletics. So
for basketball, he was always wanting that big guy. He always wanted that big center. You got me a big center. You always asked me that, and
he thought if you're not, you got to be 6'10", and then you got to play basketball. And he always asked me, when's the next big guy we're going to sign? So it was a good tribute for him last weekend at the RA facility, and saved his spot for him. So again, our thoughts to the McLaughlin family. You're really a great Mustang fan. Again, the Mustangs at home this weekend, so come on out to the RA facility as take on the Upper Iowa Peacocks on Friday and Winona State Warriors on Saturday. For the head coach, Brad Bigler, I'm Kelly Loft. Thanks for watching this week's edition of Mustang Basketball with Brad Bigler. Until next time, go Mustangs.